now Managing Director of the W Hospitality Group, Trevor Ward, says the Dubai Expo 2020 is a massive public relations exercise for Dubai, but for investors in the hospitality industry, the legacy that comes after the Expo will be more important, especially how they repurpose some of the structures being built. He joined me to discuss the possible opportunities in the hospitality industry ahead of the Expo in Dubai.
It's one of the biggest public relations exercises. I don't mean that badly, but in terms of promoting the destination that's holding the Expo, in this turn, Dubai, it's a massive profiling public relations exercise. They're already doing so. It's Dubai, Dubai, Dubai is in people's face. It's all over the TV in quite innovative adverts at the moment. So it's there to promote the destination, first and foremost.
All right then, but looking at the sector where you play in though, what kind of opportunities can we expect from such an engagement where global investors, people are coming to do exhibitions and talk about their industries and put it in the faces of people?
Well, for Expo itself, it's a bit late. I mean, the whole thing has been planned already. If you look at the hospitality industry, they've been building hotels for Expo for 5 years odd. It's the legacy that comes afterwards that's important. It's repurposing some of the structures that have gone into the various areas. There's huge numbers of square meters that need to be repurposed, need to be used for something. And they've already, laudably, they've already said, and afterwards this is what's going to happen. District 2020, for example, will be a new business district. So for investors now coming in, it's the legacy they need to look at, not for Expo itself. It's a bit late.
Yeah, but 25 million people coming in a space of 6 months, or projected 25 million people coming in a space of 6 months.
Big number. Huh?
You know, by how much do you think that would move the needle for the hospitality sector in Dubai?
Well, Dubai is already a massive destination. Why is it a massive destination? Because they've thrown an enormous amount of money into the infrastructure, the hotels, the theme parks, the roads, the railway, all that, and of course the airline Emirates to make it a destination that you can get to. You have places to stay and you have things to do. Okay. And government was really behind that, a lot of that in terms of the finance. What they're trying to do is just give it a kick from about 12, 13 million visitors to 25 million visitors. Now these are big numbers, but if anywhere can do it, Dubai can do it. What you find happens, and if you look back at other big events like World Cup, Soccer World Cups, or the Olympics, you actually get into new markets. And a great example of this was the German World Cup back in, can't remember, a few years ago, when Brazil was playing, and they had a huge upsurge in the number of Brazilian visitors to Germany because they went for the World Cup. And then, of course, after the World Cup, that number fell off. But it then came back again because the Brazilians said, oh, we quite like Germany, we'll go back afterwards. I'm back to my legacy thing. So to get 25 million visitors, they've got to be promoting globally, as they are already. I see it all the time on my TV here in Africa. So they're promoting it, looking for new markets, looking to expand existing markets. Inevitably, the visitor numbers will go down after Expo. But what they're proposing, and should work, is that once it's gone down, it will go back up again,
so more or less
to reach a new height with new markets.
So more or less getting more repeat or return visitors coming over who have experienced the market.
Getting people who've been to Dubai for the first time because of Expo, and then going back later, 9 months later, a year later, 2 years later, but who wouldn't have gone to Dubai had they not had Dubai Expo in their face and then gone and experienced it.
All right, but let's look at that sector now, the hospitality industry, which we're trying to bring to the spotlight here. And looking at how the trend, we're seeing basically how it's moving from just providing accommodation to more or less selling an experience right now. You know, what lessons can, hoteliers here in Africa take from that?
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? We don't just sell accommodation, we sell experience. And that's what a lot of the brands are trying to do. If you look at some of the brands here, I'll mention the Radisson Blu, Renaissance hotels, some of the Meridian hotels. They don't want to just be a bland product. They want people to say, oh, goodness me, and get immersed in it. It's probably easier to do that in a resort hotel than it is in a business hotel. You know, as a businessman, I don't really see the hotel very much when I travel. I'm in and out. But as a resort, when you're staying there, yeah, you want to immerse people. You want to keep people there because it's a good experience, and you want to keep people there because they're spending more money.
Well, but for Dubai's top hotel brands looking to expand into Africa, what has been that story like so far, and what do you think an event like this can add to that?
The hotel industry is primarily global brands. It's the Marriotts, the Hiltons, the Hyatts, the Sheratons, the Radissons, etc., Intercontinentals, and so it's the global brands that went first into the UAE, into the Gulf, into Dubai. I remember Dubai when it had 3 hotels. It was the Sheraton, the Intercontinental, and the Hilton, the World Trade Center. There were no other branded hotels. It was only after that entrance into that market from the global chains that you got. There's one chain in particular which comes from UAE, which is Rotana Hotels. Now they've already moved into Africa. They have a pipeline of hotels, including one here in Lagos planned. They're working already in Khartoum and Dar es Salaam. So there's been a movement, but there aren't a lot of actual Dubai chains to come out. Jumeirah have looked for opportunities. They're keen on the right opportunity here in Africa. So there is that movement.
Yeah, but how would you say, or how attractive would you say the African market is for investors from that part of the world coming into Africa?
Given how saturated some of the Gulf markets are getting, then Africa, particularly East Africa, because of proximity, is interesting. And if you look at, there's a couple of, I'll say Gulf markets rather than Dubai investors. You've got Al Buadi from Dubai, who's invested very heavily in Dar es Salaam, in Zanzibar, in Addis Ababa, even up in the Serengeti, where he owns a Four Seasons hotel. And then you've got Alamudi from the Gulf, who owns hotels in Addis Ababa, Djibouti, and Kampala. So there has been that movement, but there's been an enormous amount for them to do at home in the Gulf over the years. Will they look out here? Yeah. Yes. They will. They'll come here. They've got money to invest, and their returns are there in African markets.
What about the other way around? African brands looking to get into that space. Do you think we can play into that space?
I'm not sure what African brands could move out. One of the biggest African brands is Protea, which is now, of course, a global brand under Marriott. I'm not aware that they want to move the Protea brand outside of Africa. I may be wrong. I haven't seen any sign of it.
But if they were to make that move, do you think they will compete effectively in that space?
Well, what they could do is, of course, they could drag their clients from Africa, various African countries, many of them, into the Middle East. Because they've got that database, they've got those African countries. You find that works with the chains. That if they have a hotel somewhere, then they'll drag business from other destinations into that because of the brand pull.
Yeah, but looking at the opportunities, though, it spans just beyond the hotel because there are also ancillary businesses that are linked to the hotel business, and all that. But do you think there's a space for people who play in the ancillary businesses space to take some advantage of that as well from the Expo 2020?
Well, the hospitality industry covers an awful lot of things: restaurants, theme parks, conference centres, and hotels. Where hotels are where the biggest opportunities the biggest destination where the investment goes. There's always opportunities. Yeah.
All right, but looking at the event, though, the importance of raising unawares and raising opportunities, looking at Dubai, looking at Nigeria, looking at Africa, what African brands or which areas do you think will stand to benefit the most from engaging in an event like this?
Well, I'm not sure there are African brands which are big enough to go in there. As I said, the African hotel brands are typically very regional. There are South African chains. You've got, one of the biggest ones, apart from Protea, which is now married, is Southern Sun. They are already actually active in Abu Dhabi. They've already moved out there, but their growth is very slow. They're not going to rush into anything just because of Expo. And then you have the smaller chains. You've got Welcome Hotels over in Kenya. They tend to stay regional because that's what they know, and don't have the firepower necessarily to move into a foreign territory, which is very foreign to them.
And that was Trevor Ward, the Managing Director of the W Hospitality Group. And that's it on Beyond Markets, and thank you for joining me on the show today. Remember, you can watch the show at 5 p.m. West African time daily and have access to all previous episodes of Beyond Markets on our website. That's at cnbcafrica.com, and stay engaged with the hashtag Beyond Markets and follow me at Kenneth Igbomor. Have a wonderful day.